Our top 5 Steven Spielberg movie draft starts now.
Have you recently had a close encounter? Close encounter with something very unusual.
I saw something last night that I can't explain.
Good morning, Neverland!
All we're trying to say is maybe you just probably imagined it.
I couldn't have imagined it.
The secret of the unicorn is known only to my family. I am the last of the Haddocks.
I'm coming around again!
Faster! Move back! Smile, you son of a...
Welcome to Fantasy Picks Movie Edition, the podcast where we review movies that were overhyped but did not make it in the box office or were a critical failure. In some cases, they succeeded with both, but not the hardcore fans. I am your host, Robert Moda. With me today I have Joe Hall, Mark Kirkman, Zach Book, and Ralph Levy.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
So today we are doing our top 5, but we did a top 5 once, and I think I did that with Ralph, if I'm not mistaken. It was really Scott movies. So the problem with that is that we all, being big movie fans, I know that if we would have done a top 5 of Steven Spielberg movies, I guarantee you that at least out of those 5, 3 or 4 were all going to be the same, which is sad. Is sad to say because we all have probably almost the same taste in movies like that. But I wanted to make this a little different, so we said, hey, fuck it, let's just do it as a draft. All right, so that means we are forced to go over a lot of the stuff that Steven Spielberg has definitely done. Steven Spielberg is an American film director, producer, and screenwriter, ranked as one of the most iconic and respected directors in the history of American cinema. His films have been among the biggest box office hits of all time. A figure of the new Hollywood era, he is the most commercially successful director of all time. Spielberg is a recipient of various accolades, including 3 Academy Awards, Kennedy Center Honor, Cecil B. I could never say that right.
Cecil B. DeMille.
Cecil B. DeMille Award, AFI Lifetime Achievement Award. Listed in Times as one of the top 100 most influential people. So Steven Spielberg has actually directed 31 films. Compare that to some of the top-rated directors out there. James Cameron has only done 13. Ridley Scott, 28. Christopher Nolan has done...
What a slacker.
Yes. Well, if you think he's a slacker. Christopher Nolan, 11. Peter Jackson, 10. J.J. Abrams, 6 films. Tim Burton, 20. Michael Bay, 15. Martin Scorsese, 26 films. Francis Ford Coppola, 22 films. Brian De Palma, 30 films. And George Lucas, 6 films. Not that he is the best director out there, but the reason I included him in here is because, of course, he's Steven Spielberg's best friend. But at the same time, if you had to compare... who has made the most money out of all this, it's actually George Lucas. And I think his net worth is $11 billion as of today, compared to Spielberg, who was second at $8 billion. But yeah, so
Poor.
Yeah. What is he, homeless?
They're all homeless. They're all sharing a freaking halfway house in California.
They're living Skywalker Ranch. They're all hanging out.
Yeah.
They're living in
with
Mel Gibson's trailer from Lethal Weapon.
Or the Santa Claus.
Yeah, so I thought of it different and let's make it into a draft. So, and in the draft, we're going to have 5 categories. So when you pick a film in your draft, you are going to decide whether you're going to have it as an Oscar winner, as a sci-fi flick, as a score, like the score of the movie, which is normally John Williams, that made a huge difference in the film. The other one, the number 4 is that he's producer and executive producer. So in that category alone, he cannot be director. All right. And then there's a wild card. So the wild card could be whatever you guys want. So I did, since there's 5 of us, I did the picks on who's going to go first, second, and everything. And believe it or not, Joe, you're number 1.
That's great. 'Cause he also takes forever to pick anything. So
oh no,
this
first one, I have a feeling is going to be very quick.
Oh, it's super easy, guys. It doesn't even. Yeah, it's a done deal. Yeah.
This first one is going to be super, super fast for him since
it's the movie Duel, everybody. Trust me. 1971's Duel.
Oh yeah, this doesn't even take an ounce of thought for me. So
no, he was going to pick what was it? His Steven Spielberg's first what is it? Student film? Not even student film. Firelight.
It was Duel.
Firelight, which was a film.
Firelight. Oh, jeez, that's going way back.
Yeah, that was his first film. That was his first like Super 8 film or something. I think he was like 16 or something. So, but it's part of his filmography, which I find it to be very funny because I'm like, come on, man, don't include that in your filmography. So, sir, I will leave it up to you. So here's how it is. You're going to pick the movie, but I want you guys to let me know, why is it that you're picking that movie? What is it about the film? What is it that this film did for you? Whatever it is that you guys want to do, we'll discuss it. We're not going to spend a lot of time. We're not going to do like a, freaking 10 or 15 minutes on per film, because if not, we'll be here all night. But just a quick recap of why you picked that film and why you picked it in the category that you do. All right. So the first person will be Jose, Joe over here. So Joe, you go right ahead and pick your first film.
All right. Rob is correct. This is a no-brainer for me. I've seen this movie maybe 100 times, probably more. And I think I'll do it. I'm going to do it as a wild card, even though, yeah.
You're going to do this film as a wild card?
What? I mean, I guess I'll do. Well, it's not an Oscar winner.
Yes, it is.
Jaws.
So wait, first tell us which one you're picking, because you didn't even say that.
Jaws.
Okay. So yes, Jaws is an Oscar winner.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, I just know it as the greatest film of all time, period. So
it's a Joe Bell Prize winner.
It's a Joe Bell
Joe
Prize
didn't
winner,
do the
guys.
research and realize that, like, hold on, he won.
Yeah, so
it was in the movie theater this week too.
Yeah,
I know.
Because the anniversary.
Yeah.
They were releasing a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm surprised that you didn't know that it was an Oscar film.
I did not. It was just number one in my heart, and that's all that matters. And
That's okay.
It stayed there since I've been a small child. So listen, it fits into a bunch of categories on here. You only need to hear the theme for the shark, and you know exactly what film it is. Simple notes. Don't see the shark for over half the movie. And it basically defined a summer blockbuster. It's such an important film in that regard. For better or worse, we have summer blockbuster season, but it's also just timeless. I could watch it at any point in time, and all the performances hold up despite it being just an unbelievably catastrophic filming and running into so many issues with the sharks and with the shark and everything, and Robert Shaw loving to drink. But other than that, it's just timeless, and it's one of my all-time favorite films.
And what category are you going to put this under?
I'm gonna put it under the third category. I'm gonna put it in
score that made the okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that score is super iconic. It made people, be afraid to go back in the water. Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, I was just watching it before I got on this podcast, and it's just still a great movie. So
yeah.
It's funny about that score, though, because at first when John Williams presented that and they put it with the test footage, the producers said, "Are you crazy?" Because it was so simplistic, they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But it worked well with test audiences.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I remember seeing that in a documentary. It's like, Steven's going like, yeah, he presented me with this two note thing, and I'm like, all right, I know you're joking around, what's the real thing? And he's like, no, that's it. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I think that we've seen in a lot of new movies that truly less is more with a lot of these themes, or shows in general. Like if you've seen, no spoilers, but the Obi-Wan show, like a lot of the themes they use, even though these characters already have themes, like they've redone these very simple, just horror style themes almost, where that are just really stripped down and they're so impactful.
Stripped down just to a clean tone guitar at certain points with airiness, and it makes a scene. It's
right.
Like, wait, should I put out some stuff? Because I already did that for a podcast recently. I didn't even pay somebody for that music. I just created it myself. But the thing is that, simple is best. But absolutely. I think John Williams proved it with like doing Jaws, the theme music for Jaws.
No, it was great, and I thought, like I said, it was it's one of the most iconic movies, and it's actually what set Steven Spielberg on the road to being who he is nowadays.
Yeah, considering that was which number movie was that for him? Was it his third?
This was his Jaws was his fifth movie.
3, 4,
fifth.
Yeah,
okay, yeah. Before that, he just did Duel, and Duel is like a direct-to-TV movie at that point. Before then,
right?
And that was with a truck following a guy.
So, Mark, what's going to be? Mark, you're actually second. So, what's going to be your movie?
My movie will definitely be Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977.
Nice. Why you like that movie?
I grew up with it. Loved it. Mainly the music, the atmosphere, the way it was directed, how everything was presented to us visually. I think he did very well within that particular movie.
Right. It's very interesting. That movie has a lot of tones, especially for like the family dynamic, which mirror a lot of the things that Steven Spielberg went through in his own life. So it's very interesting. He says that if he had to film that film today, he would not, spoilers, because if none of you out there have seen any of the Steven Spielberg movies, you should not be listening to this podcast. Go see the movie and then come back. But he goes away with the aliens at the end, and he said that at that time he didn't have a family, he didn't have a wife or anything like that, so he of course had him go. But he says nowadays, if he had to make that film, he would not have had him go off with the aliens.
Yeah.
And what category are you going to put that one under?
I would have to put that under sci-fi films.
Sci-fi? All right.
Yeah.
All righty. Those are two good films. All right. So the next person on the list, it's old Ralphie boy.
Is Pinocchio an option?
Probably under. I think he produced. Did he produce a new Pinocchio? It just came out on Disney Plus.
I don't know. I'm just kidding though. But I think you know what I'm gonna pick from our previous podcasts.
Oh no, you won't.
It's not. I'm not gonna pick Crystal Skull. It's gonna be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Oh man,
that is good.
That's a great film. Yeah.
And I'm gonna put that as wild card just because I already have the other ones picked out for the other categories.
Okay.
And just because I would say the wild card of it being it's probably his best action film, and it's tough, especially when you're thinking about the series that he has with Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and just like it's hard to pick. I mean, Jurassic Park's a little bit easier because the sequels weren't that great, but you still enjoy them.
Right.
But the Indiana Jones movies, all three of them have like their super strong points, but everything this movie, it was made in what, 1978 or 82?
It was made in 1981.
81.
81 came
81,
out, I
so
think, late 82 or early 82.
There you go.
And
As
this
a matter of
movie,
fact, that's a little statue. So right now we're seeing the little the idol from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Fertility statue.
The fertility statue, which has a very close resemblance to Ralph.
Anyway, as I was saying, like it's the few movies that till this day, it's 40 years old, it's still referenced in all sorts of pop culture. My son watches a show that's on Disney Junior, they reference it in that show,
right?
And that show was made a year ago, 2 years ago, and they still reference Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is just one of those films that, of course, it's the brainchild of George Lucas, but it's still one of those movies that, because it's a period piece and it's because it's made in the style of the old cliffhanger movies, from the 40s and stuff like that you could still watch it and it still, ages very well. It is a phenomenal movie with phenomenal acting. I think Harrison Ford is probably his best compared to, like, if you had to compare that to, like, let's say Han Solo, which are his two most iconic movies. I think they're both almost even. It's just, they're both kind of, look, they're both Harrison Ford. When Harrison Ford makes a movie, it's Harrison Ford. He doesn't transform himself like, Daniel Day-Lewis or anything like that, but still, it's one of those films that just, I think it's one of Harrison Ford's best work, but it's also one of Steven Spielberg's best work too. So awesome. All right, so the next person on the line, it's old Zach.
Hi. So, just to review the rules here. So, reviewing the rules, once a movie's picked, it can't be picked for anything.
It cannot be picked again. Correct.
Got it. At all. Okay, cool. All right. So, hence why we're doing this. So,
but you can still do the theme and go pee in the corner.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So, anyway, so I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way. Maybe my ramblings keyed you in, but for me and my background, music is always huge in my decision making, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and nominate Jurassic Park.
Nice.
For scores that define yeah scores that define the movie. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you, and it's Jurassic Park. Again, Jurassic Park was an extremely pivotal movie in movie history, due to the fact that it changed the way visual effects are done. So it changed a lot of things. Like when they did those visual effects, tests, everybody said, we just changed film history. Yeah, and the way things are done.
It was one of those movies that, unfortunately I wasn't alive. That's right, Rob and Mark and everybody actually here. When Jurassic Park came out. But
wow.
When Jurassic Park came out, like I think that it definitely did forever change. It was one of those heavy hitters. It was like going to the movies to see Star Wars for the first time. It was one of those movies that had this huge holy crap moment. And I think, honestly, the score played such a huge part of that too. Yes. Because not only was it this crazy visual stunt and these immense, just massive things up on screen, but that movie because of that epic score that was completely just full of triumph and almost the irony of the movie, right? When it comes to, we feel so triumphant, welcome to Jurassic Park. And you have this huge rushing theme, and then, everything goes tits up on fire. Like, that's spoiler alert. Go ahead and put that
If you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it and haven't seen the other 12 of them, it's a bad idea, guys. No. But that score is just iconic. Frankly, it's in everything from pop culture to just its own score hall of fame as to being amazing, right? And so that's my nomination.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Jurassic Park, again, like what you were saying, the score is so phenomenal that if you ever go to the Universal Studios, one of the coolest things about Universal Studios, of course, is that they do have a lot of Steven Spielberg movies, attractions that have to do with his movies. And when you go to the Jurassic Park, you start hearing that theme, it gets you excited. Whatever it is that whatever ride you're gonna get on, it's just all of a sudden it comes out through the entire park sometimes, and you're like, this is just fucking cool. So and it's funny, every time I go to Universal Studios and I hear it, I know that I'm in Universal Studios. I don't know what it is. Yep. It's just awesome.
I think it's just playing in your own head when you walk in.
Yeah.
It is true. And you look around for Dilophosaurus looking to spit in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, the one cool thing experience that I got to have, at least after seeing the movie and being older, was I literally rode an ATV through the valley where they did the CGI for the dinosaurs running.
Oh, in Hawaii?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I went through there, and they actually have the log that they hid behind, and there's a Jurassic Park sign there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And that was really cool. And on one of the other paths, or if you pay for it, they'll actually bring you to the Jurassic Park gate still there.
Oh wow.
Cool.
Yeah. So the only way I could catch a glimpse of it was when we were on our way back in. But as we were coming back in, he said, turn around and look. So I spun to look, and you could see the big Jurassic Park sign.
Wow.
But that movie had so many things going for it too, which just made it huge. It struck a chord with kids. So all the marketing, all the toys. I had Jurassic Park toys. I mean, what little kid doesn't like dinosaurs?
Right. Exactly.
Sure.
No.
And sharks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had friends that actually did a YouTube that actually went for that, and they did the tour. They paid for the biggest thing that you can get, and they did the whole thing. And it's something that's great to do when you're in Hawaii. There's so many things, filming locations within there, but that was the biggest draw.
And that one place, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, Kong, Jurassic Park, Pearl Harbor, another one we covered on this podcast, but extreme shit, as you all know. But yeah, they're all filmed there, and they actually have some of the stuff from all the movies there, which is really cool.
Awesome. All right, man. I mean, so, and funny, so far what you guys have picked, I guarantee you that if we were just picking top fives for ourselves, we probably would have had most of those already in our top five. This would have been a very short podcast. So my turn now. So mine is going to be E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Nice.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, E.T. is just one of those films that of course it captured everybody's heart. I mean, the effects at the time were great, but he made a film that just made it was just so wholesome. And of course, the score, another, because John Williams has been collaborating with Steven Spielberg on almost every film. I think it's just one film he did not do for Steven Spielberg. But I mean, that score is iconic, especially when they're on the bikes and they're going right behind, above the moon or whatever, in front of the moon. It is still to this day such an iconic image. But the music is just beautiful. I mean, it just brings tears to your eyes. Like, I was watching it the other day and I was just sobbing like a little bitch. Just so, because it gets to you, it's like, shit, I haven't seen this in a while. And it's like, I now know why this film is, so great. The other thing about this film is that it also resembles a lot of things that Steven Spielberg said in his family. Things about divorce, things about, just mother carrying, the family by itself. So there's a lot of themes there that are very personal to Steven Spielberg. And I think that he has said, besides before, what was it, Schindler's List, that I think E.T. was his favorite film that he ever did, or something like that.
It was more personable to him because it meant a lot to him. Schindler's List was more about his heritage, his family, and where E.T. was more about his direct family and how he grew up. That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw E.T., and I think it was the first time I remember this, for whatever reason, I think my grandparents had just left after visiting. So I got to the end of the movie and like E.T. went away, and it hit me too. I mean, I was a kid, but like it probably would have made me cry anyway. But I remember that from that movie. But it is phenomenal.
It's great.
Just before before I was born. But when I finally saw it, which was probably
in the 90s.
Yeah, sometime in the 90s. Yeah,
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. It came out in 1993. It came out in 1993, the same year that Jurassic Park came out. So I guess he had a good year.
E.T. did not come out in 1993. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong. It's 1982. I'm looking at my next pick.
All right. Well, yeah.
I magically became Zach's age somehow.
Exactly right. Yeah. No. That came out in 82, and I have
correct.
Like I can remember exactly what I saw in the theater. Literally at the same time when that came out. Guess what else was out in the theater that scared the shit out of me? Creepshow.
Oh.
Everything had Creepshow on it. The cups, the popcorn holders, they had crap all over the place. It scared the crap out of me. And I'm like, there I am. It's 1982. I'm 10 years old. My parents are taking me to go see this. Now at the very end, I'm like, great. The alien's dead. What the hell? I was like, why did you put me through, parents?
Yeah,
but it was a really feel-good family film. Yes, I do agree. And I actually asked Henry Thomas about this too. I said, what are your thoughts about that film? He goes, well, it's the film that I'm defined about. Everybody remembers me from, but nobody really cares about anything else I do. But I will always be Elliot.
Have you seen his filmography? It's not like he's had something impressive or anything like that after that.
Suicide Kings he was very good in. He did play Norman Bates in Psycho 4. So, and then when he did Haunting of Hill House, that was actually pretty good.
Okay.
That show's fire.
Yeah. So, and I actually spoke to him at that time. And
that show's great.
He's trying and he's doing his best at what he can. So he's trying his hand at writing. But the thing is that he, anytime anybody comes up to him, hands him something from ET, he goes, "Oh God." But the thing is that he knows, hey, that's what everybody will remember him for.
Right.
Elliot.
Anybody knows? The girl that he kissed. Does anybody know whatever became about of that girl?
Oh, I forgot. She's an actual actress.
Erica Eleniak.
Yeah.
So she was a Playboy model, and then she came out in Baywatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful woman. So, all right. So if we're doing this just like a draft, since I was last and I get to pick the second time.
Snake draft. Hold on.
Oh.
I wanted to say something else, unrelated.
Okay.
I'll express my outrage. So E.T. is also my favorite character in Star Wars Phantom Menace.
It's a brief cameo. What the hell?
No. He's a main. He's part of the Galactic Senate, man. That is a major role.
Yeah, so are Predators too. You see them there too.
Yeah. I would agree.
Alien.
Oh, you're getting Mark riled up.
All right, well, that's what I live to do.
Yeah, you do realize E.T. actually does some kind of paradox, right? Where like in E.T. there's Star Wars figures and Star Wars things, but yet ET
Yeah,
comes out in Star Wars.
It's actually indicative of a universal wormhole that is tying these movies together. So
yeah.
carry
All right,
on
so
anyway with your draft made out of lies. Go ahead.
My draft. That's how actually you do a draft.
Uh-huh.
Am I wrong, guys? I mean,
Come your tits,
Go
Buck.
ahead.
all right. So my next one is going to be
Awesome.
actually Schindler's List. So
You
Schindler's
son of a
List, I'm going to
bitch.
put that one under Oscar.
Talk about a family film.
Oh my God, isn't it? I
ugh.
mean, just beautiful. I mean, very colorful too.
Only in
Oh,
certain
yeah.
parts. There are only certain parts that you do see color.
But no, like Schindler's
It is
List
a
is
great
just
film.
one of those films that when you watch it, it tugs at your heart. It tugs at everything that's human about you when you watch it. Sometimes very hard to watch through it because you're like, holy crap, this is rough. You know, but it's probably his best directing that he's ever done. I don't know if it gave us an introduction to Liam Neeson. I don't think it did, but it definitely made him a big name. You know,
No, Liam Neeson's first film was Krull.
Crawl, was it really?
Yes.
No, wasn't it Darkman?
No, Krull. Krull came in 1981.
Oh,
And
look
he
at
was
that.
the background character.
Oh,
And
okay.
he would always try to get screen time.
All right.
It's something that we already I talk about on my other podcast.
But wasn't
it's the funny-
wasn't his first like feature lead was Darkman?
Yes.
Okay.
As a feature lead, but his very first film was Krull.
Okay.
But,
But yeah, so you know, and of course, you know, this movie really made Steven Spielberg acknowledge his heritage, which he when he was younger, he did not really want to associate himself as Jewish, and I think it was because he was ashamed of it, and then once he really started doing the research for this and started doing the movie, he became very proud of his heritage and he became proud of his family. But it also brought into light, this figure in history that a lot of people didn't know about.
Yeah.
And the amazing, what little he did meant the world to those people.
The story itself made a lot of sense, and the story itself rang true about the person of who he was. The little bit of
and it was made
film...
it was actually made in Poland, in Auschwitz,
Yes.
in exactly where the gassing of the Jews happened.
Exactly. And on top of that, as he was doing that, he was also giving directions for Jurassic Park while he was out there filming that particular
Yeah, I heard
film.
about that.
Thought I felt a little bit of bleed over in that, getting eaten, getting gas, but not great either way.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's just the execution. I mean, yeah, no, it was a horrible time in history, but beautiful film, phenomenal acting from a lot of people. So yeah, that's my Oscar. I'm gonna put that one under Oscar, just because, of course, I think that was his, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was his first Oscar. No, he
wasn't.
had an Oscar before that, but I think this is the one that he got really well known for. But all right, so Zach, you will be next. And what's
Sounds
your
good.
What's your thing?
My thing. What's my deal? So, we don't have enough time. But anyway, so I'm gonna go with another film that definitely, I think you mentioned just the impact emotionally that this film had, and the fact that it really made you feel some stuff, and most of it wasn't good, but that was kind of part of the artistry of it. And so, in the same vein, I'm gonna go with Saving Private Ryan.
I knew
Son
it.
of a bitch.
Motherfucker.
So
Saving
That is perfect.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan for Oscar-winning director.
Ah, there we go.
And
No, wasn't it Saving Ryan's Privates?
no, that's
That was
that's
another
actually,
film. That was another
Also,
film that came out that year.
I'm the
Solid
Oscar winner
film.
of that one.
That's on
actually.
Pornhub.
Yeah. So that one, I actually produced, direct, and star in that one. So,
Oh, look at you.
Jesus Christ.
no, so no, I mean, so to bring such light to such a dark film, I mean, that is just a deeply brutal depiction of war in a way that, like, there's a lot of war films, and I think that was really one of the first ones that's just like, hey man, no, this is it. Like, it's not glamorous, it's fucked. Like, hey, take a look at D-Day, have a nice day.
Exactly.
Like, you're on a boat getting shat and puked on, and you're about to get turned into ground beef.
Yeah,
And
I
just
think
the emotions of that, it's just brutal.
It did that on a different scope, right? You have some other, like Full Metal Jacket and some of the other movies that dealt with some of the psychological aspects of being in war, the Vietnam War, and stuff like that before it. But Saving Private Ryan hit different, and even for some of the vets who went to go see it, they left the theater. That was actually one of the news stories that came out. They literally couldn't make it through the opening scene of the movie. But I don't know. I love me some Tom Hanks. I think America does too. And he just
yeah.
Tom Hanks is a legend.
Those guys did something special with that movie, and then the series Band of Brothers to follow after. What those two did together for depicting World War II and stuff like that is, it's incredible.
Yeah, that just brutal. I've never seen something like that was quite like that, right? And I mean, like, I like horror films too and stuff like that, and it's just like there's just something so real and human about that. The actual history and the actual massacre of it. It's just like I think it broke a lot of walls down.
Yeah.
No, it's funny how you say that, because when we look at horror films, we already know that there's going to be blood and gore, and we don't look at it as a real thing. We just look at it as more as an entertaining thing, and
compartmentalize it.
Yeah, but when you saw this, I remember seeing this film, and my mouth was open for the first 15 minutes because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so visceral, and it was just so impactful that when the whole thing was over, you kind of just stood there going, "What the fuck?" You didn't know what to say about it. And there's only been 2 films that I've seen that have left me that way. That one was one of them. The other one was the Passion of the Christ. And the reason for that is because the beating that they show, of course, Jesus Christ getting was so brutal and just so, it was just so abusive. It was just, it left you with like, oh my God, how the hell can this human still be alive? So to me, it was the same thing with Saving Private Ryan. You look at it and you go, how the fuck are these veterans still, functioning in life? Especially after, so even after so many years, you can see them, they're 80, 90 years old, almost 100, and you can still see tears in their eyes. So it's very impactful, beautifully filmed. I thought it just had such a great look to it. And all the actors, let's be honest. You had Tom Hanks, you had, of course, Matt Damon. What's this guy? Ribisi?
Giovanni Ribisi?
Giovanni Ribisi was in it. You don't remember that?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. So is Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel was in it for a short hop, things like that. But you had other, like Ted Danson was in it. You had there was just so many different stars in there, and that they did their own little tiny cameos here and there. Barry Pepper was probably one of the best characters I liked out of that entire film. Him as a sniper was just a badass. So, alrighty. So the next person will be Ralph.
I give up.
You gave up already? Shit.
My 5 are already up there. All right, so I'll go down the list a little bit. I'll do for sci-fi. I'm gonna pick Ready Player One.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
I had a feeling you were gonna do that.
Nice. I just finished seeing that today too.
So it's a movie. The book is really. I haven't read the second book yet, but like the book's really good. The movie did a pretty good job of doing it. And we'll go back to like the Jurassic Park thing. I read all the Jurassic Park movies. Obviously, people always complain that the movie doesn't do the book justice. He did a very good job with the first Jurassic Park with making it source material compliant. And Ready Player One, there were some justices taken, but it didn't take away from the enjoyment of the movie. So, and again, the score was awesome for it. Like they pulled a whole bunch of different genres together and kind of put us back in those. And and then the visual effects were amazing. There's parts where you can't tell if you're watching something that's animated or not. So.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. All the pop culture references were great. I never read the book. A lot of people told me that the book has slightly different things because since it's a older book, the pop culture references were from that time. So of course they updated it to to reflect current times. But I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie. The effects were great. The sound was great. It wasn't bad. I thought it was very entertaining. I liked it. I thought it was solid. All right. So, Mark, what are you going to do?
Wild card. I'll do a wild card, and this is him executive producing. Well, I'm tossed between two, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Goonies.
Yeah, but Goonies was in the... Oh, the Goonies was... Oh, you're going to do that one under what? Producer?
Executive producer under Wildcard.
Nice.
So, it defined a generation at that point, and it still holds true.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. I liked it. There's a lot of great actors that came out of there.
Yeah, Josh
that
Brolin.
Were young.
Joey Pants, who you and I both bumped into, and
what a character he is.
But it defines a generation, but it still doesn't really define the era. They could easily redo this particular movie, and I always think that that's something that they could easily be redone in modern times,
right?
And still be done well because the story is still true, and I think Spielberg still could back it as something profitable and touching the heartstrings of every kid that's out there, because literally that's what it did. And to me, I was 13 when I saw the movie when it came out. I saw it in a drive-in theater, double feature with European Vacation.
What a mix!
Yeah, it was. We saw Goonies first, and then my uncle fell asleep, and me and my cousin Anthony were in the front going, "Wow, European Vacation! What? This is amazing!" So that's my wild card. So Goonies. Yeah, nice. There was another one that was really on there, but everybody knows who that is and what movie that is. It's a Robert Zemeckis movie, but I'm sure somebody else has picked it already.
And the next one's going to be Joe.
I get to go twice, yeah?
You get to go twice, you bastard.
Let's go. I'm going to go with Poltergeist.
Oh, you bastard.
This was me looking at the list and being like, how am I gonna fuck somebody over? A movie he produced or executive produced.
Yeah, but it was still a great movie.
And I picked it. Yeah. So again, a movie that came out before I was born, but eventually saw multiple times later in life. Just a bunch of iconic scenes and simple things that would get you interested or drawn into the movie, where seems like things in the house are playful, but turns out to actually not quite be that way. And just the image of that was a handcuff, but it's also a great movie, so I'm quite pleased with that pick.
And you're putting that under what? Oh yeah, producer, I guess, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like that film too. I wasn't a big fan of the remake. I don't know what it is. I just think that the original was a much better film. And from what I hear, just like how Steven Spielberg is, he might be producer, but once in a while he'll just say, you know what, I'm gonna direct this scene. And I heard that he did direct a couple of scenes in that movie itself.
It made me when I was a kid, I first saw it, and it's probably the second or third time I saw it, but I remember having to leave the room when he threw up the entity onto the carpet, and I immediately threw up in the bathroom.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah.
No.
So I could never watch that part until I was like 13.
No, the only issue I had as seeing that as a child when I saw it in the theater was the bathroom scene when he was peeling his face off.
Oh,
That got me as a kid.
Yeah,
that and Raiders when the melting face. I don't know what it is.
That's good stuff right there. The
melting face.
Goodness.
Yeah, yeah, and Raiders.
That is always good.
I mean, didn't he only have like 3 Oscar-winning movies?
No.
No, he had a bunch.
But well, you got to remember when we define Oscar winning, it means that it could have probably won for special effects. It could have won for
it's multiple wins with that he actually produced, directed, or whatever. But everybody else got wins on it.
Yeah. So who's next? Well, Joe, you have to take another one.
Yes. This is where it starts to get hard because I have got a while to go until it comes back around.
This is why doing it this way, it makes it interesting because, like I said, by now we would have all been like, "All right, good night, everybody."
Oh yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It does make it a lot harder.
Where do you see he had more Oscar movies than what we already said?
Not him personally. It's movies that
when we say it's not that he
Oscars.
It's not that he wins the Oscar. It's that the movie won Oscars.
Oh, fucking Roger Rabbit. Let's do this.
Jesus.
Come on.
I think I'm gonna go with a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with Minority Report.
Oh, that's a great movie. I love
yeah.
that movie.
I've just always liked it. I thought the concept was interesting. Tom Cruise is really, really good in it. And I'm also devious, and I know that it has a very good Rotten Tomatoes score. So I'm just keeping track in my head right now. And yeah, but I mean, good performances across the board for that movie, and I just thought it was a intriguing theme.
Right.
So yeah, I like it. Sorry if
so
I'm ruining.
That movie is somehow credited with like, what is it? A gesture-based, computer interface, because it starts, like when he starts with the looking for, the crimes, and he's using his hands and all that stuff. And so every time you see things about technology and stuff like that have to do with like technology like that, where like, you're either using some kind of hand gesture or some kind of interface.
Like
they
Back
always
to the Future too, when the kids ridicule
Yeah.
Marty about, hey, you have to use your hands.
Exactly. So they always show that movie. And I think, was that his second movie with no, that wasn't his second movie with Tom Cruise, was it?
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't. It was there was also another one. Because I know that Tom Cruise and him had a falling out.
War of Worlds.
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
but that was later on.
Yeah, that was later on, but he had a falling out with, I guess, Steven Spielberg or something like that. But
yeah.
No, it's a great movie. It looks great. I thought the only criticism I could give it was when they were flying in jetpacks, and those rockets were actually behind them, and there was like scenes where like you could see the rocket was like the exhaust is hitting their ass,
their
and I'm like,
backside.
why is their ass not on fire?
On fire. But you had a great cast though. You had Max von Sydow in there. You had Samantha Morton. You had Tom Cruise.
Oh, you also had
other people.
What's his name?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yep.
So
all right, Joe. So
a great cast. Yeah.
All right, Mark. So you are next.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to go with an Oscar-winning Munich.
I like that movie too.
Munich was a good movie. Very interesting how he decided in the movie, which actually pissed off people, that he was going to get the perspective of both sides, even the terrorists. Which is something that a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be glamorizing, I guess, terrorists and stuff." And it wasn't about that. It was just more about he just wanted to have both sides in there.
I mean, there have been television shows and stuff that have taken that route too. Sort of after that movie came out, there's a show on Netflix called Fauda, and they show both sides, like the Israeli special forces and the terrorists.
Correct.
And yeah, they don't pull any punches on that. And it was kind of like this movie too.
By the way, that movie did not win any Academy Awards.
Really?
Nope.
Not
It was
nominated for a bunch and made like
nominated for a
everybody's
bunch,
top
but
10
did
list.
not win any.
How the hell did I pick the wrong movie? All right. Color Purple?
The Color Purple is an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was good because it had, Danny Glover in it.
Yes.
It-
It had Whoopi
yeah.
Goldberg, Danny Glover. It had Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. All right.
Catapulted a bunch of people too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was very different for its time too, because a lot of people weren't doing anything so diverse. So, all right, that'll work for me.
It was nominated for 11 Academy Awards.
Didn't win a single one?
Nope.
What?
Holy shit.
I think I won more Academy Awards than that movie.
Jesus.
1, 2, 3.
That's crazy.
4,
I could have
5,
sworn
6,
that one.
7, 8, 9.
Same here.
10 Academy Awards it was nominated for, and it didn't win a single one. I'm surprised at that, actually. There are some easy ones to find.
There are some easy ones on there, actually.
Alrighty, so Mark, I guess you're still you still got to choose.
Yeah, I'm still on the clock. I have to look. Oh my god! I thought It's funny too because it's like everybody gets. Yeah, they're nominated for this.
I'll be honest with you. I thought myself it actually won some awards.
According to
I mean, I can throw you a bone if you want.
like what? Twilight Zone?
Like Lincoln.
Lincoln
won,
was
yeah.
nominated. It shows.
Lincoln,
That was my second pick to that. But
Daniel Day-Lewis won, did he not?
Yeah,
Because he's
Daniel
fucking
Day-Lewis
Daniel
won for
Day-Lewis
best-
and he wins
yeah,
every
for-
single time.
for best actor.
Yeah.
All right, my left foot gets it. Okay.
I mean, that's a much better movie. That's for a different podcast, but
Yeah, that is true.
So what is it? Lincoln won for best actor and it won for best production design.
yep.
Yep, it looked great.
Had a great actor and it looked awesome.
Back to you, Ollie.
Yeah, thanks, Chet.
All right, so am I putting you down for Lincoln, Mark?
Sure. Because that was actually my next go-to. If somebody said it. It's like,
Okay.
nah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, put me down for Lincoln too.
But so yeah, Lincoln again, one of his his period pieces, but I have to say what I liked about that movie was the behind the scene stories with Daniel Day-Lewis basically being so method that even when they weren't filming, he was treating Sally Fields as his wife.
Yep.
So very interesting. He's a very interesting character.
My mom's twin.
Your mom's twin? Why you say that?
Yeah. My mom looks like Sally Field.
Oh, Sally Field.
Her nickname is Gidget.
Okay. So, all right. So we have right now and we're kind of through the, well, no, I'm not going to say we're almost in the halfway point. The next person would be Ralph.
Oh, hi. I'm back.
You are back.
Oscar winner, Saving Private Ryan.
Can't do that.
Schindler's List.
I'm not throwing you a bone either.
Jaws. Yeah, you know what? Let's go crazy.
That's
so
what you're here for.
Yeah, so this was nominated for an Oscar and I picked it, but I can't use it for that. But I'm going to use it for score, and I know none of you picked this. As a matter of fact, some of you might not have ever seen this movie. It's an animated movie.
10-10?
No, not even close. One of the most iconic.
Did he direct it?
He was a producer.
Okay. Was it Back to the Future?
No, that's not animated, you monster. I wish I could pipe the song in for you. It's an iconic song.
Just get to the point.
No, you chill out. One of the most iconic songs from the early 90s. But it starred Fievel Mouskowitz.
Oh my
The American Tail.
Oh.
All right.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Under the pale moonlight, boys.
Yeah. What? Who was that? Who was that? What? Linda Ronstadt? Wasn't it Linda Ronstadt and somebody else? Or no, that was something else.
Oh, it was.
Who sang it? Huh?
I'm gonna find it out. I know the name. It's on the top of my tongue. I can't remember it.
American Tail. Yep.
Where? Fievel Mouskowitz. Kavitz.
Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram. That's right.
There you go. Okay.
There you go.
God bless. I always mistake that for a Disney movie, but I don't think it actually is.
It's not.
Yeah, I thought it was a Disney movie too.
Isn't it like is it DreamWorks?
Yeah, DreamWorks didn't exist yet.
Yeah, I think it's like
before DreamWorks. Yeah,
fucking Sleepworks. It's not even like DreamWorks isn't around yet.
It was like before the Black Cauldron or the Secret of Nim.
That is funny.
Yeah, it was Sneezeworks.
And you're putting this on the what score?
Yeah,
score.
It's a good one for score.
It is.
It's an awful one for score. It's only the one song.
Yeah.
But it's a banger. It's a banger song.
it's true. The music actually did define that piece of film there.
I recall the entire melody, and I haven't seen that movie in 20 years, so it's got to be worth something.
No, it's a good movie. It's very heartfelt, and of course, it talks about
Rob, can we play this over every podcast while you talk?
Yeah, you get striked.
Hey, you're good for another 24 seconds.
Yeah,
it's copyright infringement.
Yeah, it's copyright. So I'm gonna cut that
nope,
off.
I changed the bar. We changed the bar. It's okay.
Yeah,
Mark, fix that real quick.
Yeah, right. It's an editing. I don't do the editing.
I could put a filter on it and make it go like in slow motion or something.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Make it sound like the devil's actually singing it.
Trying to kill my network.
So Ralph picks.
Oh boy, boys! I can't wait. Go for it. Keep going. Keep it going. I found me an Oscar winner.
Oh wow! I had a hard time. You probably found something that was like.
I've got another one too.
All right, I got something for score, but not everybody's gonna be like, "What?"
We're gonna skip the next 4 picks. I'm just gonna do my Oscar winner now. Is that okay? Are we good?
Nope.
So Zach, you're the next one. So what is your?
I am gonna lock it in for sci-fi. Because we're running out of those.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with War of the Worlds.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it specifically because of Tom Cruise's running.
I mean, Tom Cruise's running is undefeated.
Well, considering he broke his
so
foot
fast
when he ran in Mission Impossible, and then he broke it on a rooftop.
I believe it. Yeah. So I've actually been rewatching the Mission Impossible films. Like every week I've been doing one.
Watch the YouTube.
Yeah, it's
it's hilarious.
It's fantastic. But no, I think War of the Worlds is one of those just very just for some real actual commentary on the film. It was one of the more just like if you call to mind like the archetypical movie that's focused on alien invasion, just American film. I think that checks a lot of boxes. It's a classic in that regard.
Right.
I think it's got a really well-rounded just kind of presence in that space. So that's what I'm picking for sci-fi.
The effects were good.
Yeah. It's just a well-rounded one. And frankly, this is a draft. So at this point, you beggars can't be choosers.
All right. So very cool. So Zach got what was it again?
War of the Worlds for
War of the
sci-fi.
Worlds. So what is it? H.G. Wells story, which has been retold in cinema.
Yeah.
But Steven Spielberg decided to get throw his hat into that mix, and did actually very well.
It did pretty good. You had Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning. Who else was in that?
It was one of Dakota Fanning's first ones too.
Yeah,
I believe it was one of the ones that put her on the
Correct.
map as a child.
Yes. So, and again, it still has the same theme where it's about a father disconnected from his kids.
Family.
Yeah. So, one of the big things that I know that with Steven Spielberg saying that when his father and his mother kind of split up, it was really the mother who was at fault in that sense, because she went ahead and fell in love with his father's best friend, and they got married. But his father never, or his mother and his father just never told him who it really was, and it just made it seem like his father's the one that actually left the family. So for like 15 years, he was very estranged from his father. So that's why a lot of those things, that's why a lot of these things carry, a lot of those themes carry over in his movies. And in this one,
me up.
He decided to make Tom Cruise like the absent father who just is not really there for the kids. So, all right. So I'm next. And like you were saying, we are running out of sci-fi movies. I'm going to go with AI, artificial intelligence, for sci-fi.
Good. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it had who is it? Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
Which when he was that young, he was actually kind of a hot ticket because of
seeing dead people.
Because exactly. Yeah. So
now he just sees Kevin Smith.
Yeah. For the Sixth Sense. Yeah. Now he does Kevin Smith movies. But it was again, here's the theme of a little child that's by himself, and he's trying to find a family, and he's trying to connect with, trying to be a real boy. It also has the theme of Pinocchio, trying to be a real boy and things like that. So,
yeah.
But I thought it was well done. Jude Law was awesome in it. And it just had, it made me feel for the robots on how that, because they were being treated like garbage. Like, it's like anything else that, we have in society. When we have like too much of it or becomes the norm, we just kind of discard it and don't give a shit about it. And the robots on this were like pretty much discarded. For me, I would be in a world going, holy shit, there are robots everywhere. I'll be talking to every robot and being friends with them. Now over here, this is a world that just, and the ending of it was also interesting on how the again, spoilers, how the entire world, when it ends or finally ends and it's a frozen ball, that aliens find Earth, and when they dig it up, they find him frozen, and I think they give him proper death or something like that. So, but very interesting movie. I liked it a lot. Anything you guys have to say about it? Have you guys seen it? You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's one I haven't seen.
Yeah. I have it on iTunes if you ever want to see it. So it's
You never
actually,
saw AI?
No.
I
yeah.
haven't either.
Wow.
You've seen some shitty movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all have. That was the original point of this podcast. So, yeah, I've suffered through many a shitty movie, but that was one that I have not watched.
Well, I haven't even picked for my favorite score movie, so I'm gonna throw you guys for a loop.
So just to wrap up, so far we have all picked 3. So Joe has so far picked Jaws, Poltergeist, and Minority Report. We have Mark with Close Encounters, Goonies, and Lincoln. We also have Ralph with Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ready Player One, and American Tail. We have Zach with Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, and War of the Worlds. And I have E.T., Schindler's List, and AI so far. All right.
A crazy lineup.
Yeah, what a crazy lineup. All right. So I get to pick one more. So far, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think I did a score, I did an Oscar winner, and I did sci-fi.
So you need 2 more, right?
I need 2 more, and so this one is going to be under producer or executive producer, and the one I'm going to pick is Back to the Future.
Oh, God damn it!
I knew it was gonna happen.
I knew someone was gonna take it. But that's
Oh,
fine.
it was either Goonies or that. So
I was hoping to get to that one before it happened, but
yeah.
Yeah, so Back to the Future, a phenomenon when it came out in the movies. What a fun movie. It put Michael J. Fox on the map. It's a movie that till this day, you watch it, it ages very well, even though it is, kind of, well, I mean, it's set in the 50s or something like that. So, but the future part is not what I would say. That's actually Back to the Future
the
2.
Story.
It's right. It's more the story. It's more about how his mom fell in love with him. It's a fun movie. It's actually very it's still wholesome. I don't know, and it made the DeLorean probably the most iconic car in the world.
Yeah,
especially
it brought back the DeLorean as being something cool because in the early 80s it was something to get, but by 85 nobody wanted a DeLorean.
Oh no, it was a piece of shit.
And then
it
by
looked cool.
Late 85 everybody wanted a DeLorean and they were
oh my god, till this day, I mean, there are people that are,
oh yeah,
that want
They
DeLorean.
still show up
They're
everywhere.
remaking it.
And there are collectors out there that have conventions and you could actually see a documentary about the DeLoreans.
Yeah, no,
it's gonna be like $400,000 or something crazy.
Oh yeah, people actually document, like they have kits to turn DeLoreans into time machines.
Yes, as a matter of fact,
people actually go through that process. There's forums and resources on how you can build your own DeLorean time machine. So
gigawatts
clearly
dude.
made an impact. Yeah, man.
No, that is
Gigawatts.
correct, and it made it makes it where, like, like these communities, they get together and stuff like that. But there's, I think, one or two cars or something out there that are the most exact replicas that you could possibly think of. They went so full out on it. And funny enough, the original car, the screen car, was actually in a dilapidated state in the Universal
Really?
Studios lot. And somebody saw it and said, hey, this is like one of the best movies out there. Can we just restore this car? And they decided to restore it and put it in the Universal I guess
Wow.
museum or something like that. But it took a while for them to actually restore it, to its full glory. But it was actually like in the worst conditions you could think of, because it was just in
That's
the lot, left
disappointing.
in the rain. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
when I went to Universal Studios, I remember the first time I went, they had the lot where they had a lot of props from movies, and this is stuff that's just, they put it out there. And it doesn't matter whether rain or shot, whatever it is, it's just out there. It's just like kind of
Yeah.
wasting away.
I remember that. It was in California too.
Well, the Universal one I went to was the one in Florida, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the DeLorean, which one it was in, but yeah.
No, it was in California. I was there. And
Oh, okay.
I took a picture with it when I was 18.
Right.
And then it looked okay, but I saw pictures later on where it got rusted.
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing movie and amazing trilogy. Let's just say. I mean, it's very rare when you get a movie that every movie that they make after that is just as good as the first one.
Yeah.
And till this day, Robert Zemeckis says that they will never, ever, ever remake this movie unless he dies.
Yeah.
So we have to wait. So,
And,
but yeah, so that's.
And fun fact.
But they could easily give us the Eric Stoltz version.
Yeah, they filmed a lot of it, and
about
I
3/4 of the movie was.
Yeah, but
filmed.
you know what? We have seen some of they have shown some of those scenes, and he wasn't the same as Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
Michael J. Fox he was just special in this. I mean,
yeah, comedic timing. He fit the character.
Yeah,
Eric
no, he
Stoltz
was great. I mean, it's just
like a straight person.
Just the look on his face on certain scenes just makes it so great. And of course, you have the guy who plays Biff. He's actually. I mean, everybody in that, and then of course you have Christopher Lloyd, who is going to be known for Doc Brown for the rest of his life.
Fun fact.
Morty.
Fun fact. Go for it.
Fun fact. Back to the Future is the last roller coaster ride Lee Hall ever went on.
Oh, really?
Yep. He went on that ride, came out, and he was like, nope, fuck you. And never went on another roller coaster ever again.
Really?
Yep.
Back to the Future ride at Universal.
Yep.
Man.
The 3D stuff got him. He was like, that was bullshit. I'm gonna go find a garbage can, make out with it for a bit, and you guys keep going around the park.
So just if you guys are not aware,
legend.
For people out there who are not aware, Lee Hall is Joe's father. So that is
he's
awesome.
going to be so pissed off that I said that, so you should probably black out his name and edit it.
Yes, because I can see your dad in the car. It's like, let's listen to this podcast today.
No, he won't. I'm just saying, I don't know. We got some German fans. I don't know. Maybe someone somewhere decides to seek him out. He's just kind of like that.
Hey, we heard your son talking about you in the United States.
You want a schnitzel?
All righty.
Oh, fuck.
All right. So the next one is Zach. Zach, what do you got?
What you got for me, bitch?
Oh, man. I'm hosed now, to be honest, because, my 15th round pick got picked.
He's 4 years old, so it's tough.
Yeah, I'm also 4 years
so
old.
Far you got so far you got sci-fi, Oscar, and score.
Yep, I've got one. So I'm gonna go with produced, right?
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with Men in Black.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
So Men in Black, I mean, it was actually an iconic movie from my childhood. So it came out in 97.
Yeah.
I was born in 94. Congratulations, everybody. And so that movie I very much so grew up with, and obviously the advent of the additional ones that had come out, the sequel and the third movie as well. So that was really cool to me because I remember even having like the Happy Meal toys of Men in Black growing up. Having the props and the toys, and so that deneuralizer, everything from that to the noisy cricket, that always stuck with me,
right?
And so that was kind of part of me, and one of those big movies for me growing up. It was before Will Smith started running around slapping people too, so it was a good era.
You took my joke. I was gonna ask you if you were making fun of me for being bald, and then I was gonna tell you to take my wife's name out your fucking mouth. But you stole my thunder.
Well,
fuck.
Yeah. I liked that era of Will Smith pre-slap, and just some cool alien stuff. So.
I mean, literally a person who was on top of the world and figured out the formula that was needed to make a blockbuster every year that would make a gajillion dollars.
Oh yeah.
And he based it off of that movie run where he was like, okay, like you need X, Y, and Z. And if the movie has these things, whether it's good or not, people are gonna come out and see me in it. But
Right.
Just a solid, fun film.
It's
Actually,
a great
yeah.
film. I
That-
mean, it was something that we never seen
yeah.
before. The whole notion that aliens are on Earth and there's a what is
Among
it?
Us, you know.
Yeah, but they have a what is it like basically like a port authority type of thing, where they have to register to come into the into
Ellis
Earth,
Island.
and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
right, so I thought that was really funny. I love the retro look of it, and of course, there's Rick Baker's iconic
Effects.
visual effects.
Makeup.
Yeah, visual effects with creature effects that are just second to none. I mean, that guy is just pretty phenomenal. But yeah, no, and of course they had a pretty catchy rap song.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
song was great.
Everything from the actual theme to some of the spin-off themes, just from Will Smith's kind of rap career and everything as well. Like, there's a lot going for it.
Right.
I also enjoy the fact that now, since I've spent a little bit of time working in New York City, I start like associating that movie with fan fiction of how I actually believe New York City works at this point, because it starts to make more sense if I attribute some of the ridiculousness to the fact that there's aliens among us. It starts to make me feel better about the reality that is the surroundings.
I mean, there's one in your cat's skull, Zach.
Well,
so.
welcome to my world, man. I grew up in I grew up in New York,
the
so yeah.
universe around her neck. Remember?
Yeah. It also made Tommy Lee Jones.
She's trying to be on the podcast too.
It also made Tommy Lee Jones such a for the first time we got to see Tommy Lee Jones just be comedic, I think. Yeah. And he was great. And it's not like he was trying to be funny. His part was just very stoic, but it was just great. Like his timing was absolutely amazing.
I mean, U.S. Marshals didn't really make his life, so he had to do something.
I mean, historically known as a guy who's literally called like one take Tommy. He just walks in, nails it, and he's like, "All right, I'll wait on you guys to do the rest."
All right, man, I'm out of here. I'm going back to
I'm
the
out.
trailer.
I'm really good. I'm really good at this.
It's like I already played Two-Face. Let Jim Carrey do everything. Okay.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. and what about Rip Torn as well?
Oh well.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's right.
On his meds or in prison, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you do in Connecticut, man. That's what happens around here. You either play the part of the hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
You get rich or die trying. I think that's somebody else.
Yeah, when you have to pay taxes on your cars, you start going a little fucking nuts. So,
oh, goodness.
All right, so next up is Ralph.
Where am I?
What you got? What you got for me, Ralph?
So listen, Ralph.
I'm ready for you, Ralph.
So far,
what
you have
got?
one for wild card.
Yeah.
You have another one.
Oh, no,
for...
I know where I'm at, but you could recap. Go for it.
All right, so one for wild card, one for sci-fi, and the other one I think is for score.
Yeah. So all I have left is produced and Oscar winning.
Yeah.
I got your Oscar winner. I'm gonna pull the proverbial rabbit out of the hat.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I'm ready. And if you pick mine, I'll stab you in the heart.
That sucks to be you. I'm sorry.
You probably won't. That's fine.
But he was an executive producer for this film.
Okay.
And it won for best film editing,
It's gonna be
best
super
effects and sound effect editing, and best effects visual effects.
Oh boy. I'm
Super
kind of curious here.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh wow! You mentioned it earlier. Okay, all right, yeah, that'll work.
I had to go back to the beginning where I mentioned it as the first movie I picked.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Another Christopher Lloyd movie.
Fired.
Is that
Yeah,
it? That's all you
so
got? That's all you got on it? You're just
that's
like,
all you
I
got.
just
It's
needed
it's
to
it's an
pick
incredible. It's an
Fill a
well.
category.
Tell us
So
exactly.
one of my favorite classes I ever took when I was in college for film was my sound editing class, and I actually did the whole package, like all the tracks for the beginning intro with Baby Herman and Roger Rabbit. And it made me realize how hard sound effects and editing are. It's probably one of the most difficult tasks when you're making a movie. And it's the most frustrating, especially when you're like super, super anal about like things being perfect. Sound editing is impossible. You literally can't have that attentiveness in your mental before you get into it, because it'll ruin you, because it's so hard. And you're a lot of times, especially now, you're at the mercy of digital media. So like anything, like, and Rob knows because he complains about how I record every week. Like every little pop or noise, and it shows up, and then you try to fix it and it fucks something else up. So like it's just it's really appreciated, especially like that. If you go back and ever watch the movie, and it's obviously it's a super enjoyable movie. You can watch it over and over again. It's 30 something years old now. Yeah, I think it just hit the 30th anniversary, not like a year or two ago, I think. So,
yeah, it broke a lot of ground. It broke ground because of the effects. The fact that you had cartoons and live action at the same time. You also had the fact that a lot of the cartoons were from different creators. So it really, but all these childhood, animated shows that you grew up with, I mean, they were in the movie. So, but it also made Jessica Rabbit a sex symbol.
Yes.
It's
so
fucking weird.
Yeah,
Weird sex
listen,
symbol.
it is, but she was a sex symbol. I mean, there were people saying, "Hey,
she still is."
Till this cosplay like her. Yeah.
Till this day, people ask, is if there was a cartoon that you could, have sex with or something like that, and they put it like on the top 5, and she's always, I think, either number 1 or number 2.
Do me a favor, don't ask me any more questions because I don't want to be asked that question.
Listen, the real life Jessica Rabbit is Christina Hendricks. Done. You're all welcome.
That
Nailed
is true.
the casting choice. Done. You're welcome.
That is true. And there was supposed to be a part 2.
Yes.
And they're still thinking about making a part 2, which I think is interesting. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but at the time, when you watch the behind the scenes stuff, just on, like, let's say when they were doing when Daffy Duck and Donald Duck are doing the dueling pianos, it's amazing seeing all the mechanics and everything just to make things move. And then they would take those things, whatever gadgets that make things move, and then they just put the cartoon part of it. But there was so much involved in one scene, because it just wasn't, hey, let me just put, like, let's say the seat moving. It was like, oh, that's moving, but then you got a penguin, I think, with a tray, that he's walking across the scene. So they had to have something that's going to walk with that tray. They had so many things going on, and I think that's just what makes the movie great. Not only watching it, but I also think, if you take the time to watch how it was made, you could appreciate the movie a lot better. All right, so Ralph did Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The next one is Mark.
All right, well, this will have to be score that influenced the film.
Okay.
All right, so that's
drum roll,
all that
please.
I have left. Well, this goes to the movie that came out in 1989. Stars Richard Dreyfuss, John Goodman.
Oh, wow. Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Who's the woman? Tell me.
Huh?
Tell me the lady that's in the movie.
Oh, that's Holly Hunter.
Exactly, and the movie is Always from 1989.
Yes.
But a score done by John Williams himself.
Correct.
And Mr. Steven Spielberg was associated with it as executive producer. Oh, actually, no, he was directing it.
He directed it, correct, and he even wrote it. I think. Well, he produced it, and no, he didn't write it.
He didn't write it, but he did produce and direct it.
I like that movie. It didn't get that. It didn't do that well in the box office.
No.
It got, and it's actually based off of an older movie called I think A Guy Named Joe or something like that.
That's
And
exactly it. Yep.
yeah, exactly. So, but I enjoyed that
can't be
movie a lot. I think it had a lot of heart. Very funny. It made Richard Dreyfuss, as always, very funny too. But I liked it. I thought it was.
Yeah, and it was also the last movie that Audrey Hepburn was in.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she played Hap.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I thought it was pretty cool, and I always liked the story of it because it was like about true love and everything else. But it's a bunch of these guys that are kind of like pilot firefighters that drop everything over a fire.
Yes, they fight forest fires and things like that, and they show how dangerous it can be because it is a very dangerous job. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
and then the fact that Dreyfuss comes back as somebody else.
Well, he comes back as a ghost. That's basically what it.
But
no, he doesn't come back as somebody else.
A young man.
He comes back. He influences a young man to become a pilot, as a firefighter, but the guy that he influences is falling in love with the girl that he was in love with, and he's trying to stop that, which I thought it was also funny. No, but it's a great movie. Has a lot of heart. John Goodman also very funny in it.
Yep.
So,
but the score itself was very good, very light in comparison to anything else that John Williams normally does.
Right.
But it had a lot of passion and emotion in it.
All righty. So Mark said, and that one you put underscore. So Mark has always.
I am so ready for this.
All right, Joe. So you are next. This, I guess, you would have.
This will be my completion.
He did Indiana
because
Jones and the Temple
you
of
get
Doom.
you get two shots.
I get 2 shots, and since someone took fucking Tom Hanks from me and Saving Private Ryan, I'm taking the rest of the Tom Hanks, or most of them. So, Oscar winner, which will be a surprising one, Bridge of Spies. Mark Rylance won for Best Supporting Actor, and I like Tom Hanks, and that movie is actually phenomenal and didn't get enough credit. It was nominated for a bunch of awards. It didn't do very well. Well acted across the board. Mark Rylance is absolutely amazing in that movie, but he's usually good in everything.
Right.
I just like the story that was based on history. Yeah, so Bridge of Spies was cool. Did any of you guys see that movie?
I have not. That's
one
of the few that I did not see.
Yeah, I did. It's actually the movie that they said. So if you look into like the award season, this movie came out, I believe,
like right before, right?
Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, this movie came out at a time where I believe Sylvester Stallone came out with a movie where he got nominated for an Oscar. And I believe Creed. Yes. And in the Golden Globes, Sylvester Stallone wins for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor. In this one, people thought, oh, Sylvester Stallone is going to win, because if you win a Golden Globe, it's almost a sure thing that you're going to win the Oscar. Yeah. Nope. It was Bridge of Spies. The what's the actor's name?
Rylance.
Yes.
Mark Rylance. Yeah.
So he's the one that kind of took it away. I was shocked, because I was like, really? I mean, he did a good job, but I think in Creed, no,
I agree with you in that regard. That Stallone
should have gotten that one.
He deserved that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have gotten that one. Rylance was very good in this movie, but
also, yes.
But Stallone deserved it.
Right.
So that's my Oscar winner.
That's your Oscar?
Yeah.
What's your wild card?
Catch Me If You Can.
Great movie too.
I'm just dropping 90% burgers on your guys' faces. Do you know that? Just all over. all over you.
Yeah, if you like shitty burgers.
Dude, come on. If this was a fantasy football team, I'm fucking trucking all you guys.
No, Catch Me If You Can was fun. Based, of course, off of a real events that happened.
Autobiography from the actual prisoner himself.
Yeah,
Yep.
and believe it or not, because of that guy, a lot of the security measures that we do for checks are actually in place because of him.
Yeah, he actually went to work for the FBI, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yep.
He did. He definitely did. And as a matter of fact,
They
I
were
think
like, "Stop making us look stupid. Tell us what you're doing."
Exactly.
Yeah, he
So-
he kind of redefined all the mecha readers that are out there for checks.
Yeah, no, but it was a fun movie. I mean, it's Leonardo DiCaprio was great. The shit that he was just getting away with. I mean, you will watch the movie and you're like, I just can't believe that this person actually, did all that. And then of course, Tom Hanks trying to catch him was always it's also the funny part about it. And then you also had Christopher Walken's, which was also great.
Yeah, and before you mentioned it to me, like before we did the podcast about Steven Spielberg's family situation, it also ties into that theme too, like the real
With his father.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like the real life Abagnale, his name is. He never saw his father again after he ran away from home, but Spielberg wanted to change that a little bit to make it what it was in his movie, to like always try and make his father proud. So it's an interesting aspect of the movie, but also still like themes of broken homes and troubled childhood, and as you said, his parents' divorce, so on and so forth. So that's all in there too, but also just a great movie. And thank God Tom Hanks wasn't caught up in Me Too, guys, because I would have stopped watching movies.
I know, right?
But did you watch
America
Pinocchio?
loved Tom Hanks. So
what was that?
Did
said
you watch
America.
Pinocchio?
I haven't watched Pinocchio.
I
yet.
watched it. It's not bad. I think he did a good job on that too.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. So that being said, all right. So you have
I got
Catch
all
Me If You
5,
Can.
son.
You already have all 5. So Mark is next, and he will get his last one. And so, what is that going to be?
I'll go with his first ever directorial debut, which would be 1971 Duel.
Oh.
Which you could actually hear on my podcast, Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, that my friend Jeff and I cover. Forgetting which episode that was, but yeah, that was his first, and it was a very interesting movie because literally it pre-structures Jaws.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. And you and I saw that not too long ago.
Yeah,
right,
you
Rob?
and I sat down and we watched it because I told you, hey, I think this is his first film, and we decided to watch it, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
You're right. It has a lot of the themes like with Jaws or something like that, but.
Well, at the very end, if you listen to the roar of the truck going over the cliff, spoilers, everybody. If you did not see the movie, it came out 51 years ago. But the roar, like a lion or a dinosaur going over the cliff from the truck, literally is what they use at the very end of Jaws.
Yeah. Interesting tidbit on this. So the studio gave him a lot of shit because he would not explode. The truck did not explode when it crashed.
Yep.
So the studio was like, we need to have an explosion to make it a really good finale. He goes, no, I'm not doing it. It's supposed to be a slow death. So because when you see certain scenes at the end of the truck all mangled, so you see the mangling part, you see oil dripping slowly like if it was blood. So he wanted to show the truck finally
as if it was like a dying person.
Correct.
Or
finally
beast.
got its, whatever it was due to the fact that it was terrorizing this poor guy. So yeah, very interesting. All right, so Mark is done with his list. The next one is Ralphie Boy.
Let's go with one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Executive produced by Mr. Spielberg. And it has one of my favorite characters ever since I was 4 years old. I remember seeing this movie in the theater. I used to live in New York City. I used to live in the Bronx as well. And I remember getting home that night and like a pigeon or something flew into the window, scared the shit out of me. And I never wanted to see that movie again. But my good friend Gizmo got me through it. So Gremlins would be my
Gremlins.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome. That's actually
it's one of those movies that's still like dude, and that's the one like the growing theme you'll see with Spielberg movies. I mean, the guy's on a pedestal for a reason. Like, we're talking about these, and we're not even just doing it just because of the podcast, because of the content we're talking about. All of these movies you can show again and again, and it's literally like they were made yesterday. Not they don't show it's like the movie like The Godfather, where The Godfather will never show its age because it was so well made. Right. And like it takes place in a different time, but like that movie was made like as if it was made yesterday with all of its physical effects and everything like that. But, like Gremlins is one of those movies, even the puppets are, you can see past some of the stuff. Matter of fact, like I think on some of the earlier Blu-ray releases, you could see some like kind of the puppetry effects that like kind of, and then they with the Blu-ray releases they cleaned it up a lot.
Yeah,
right.
But it's just such a fun movie to watch. Yeah, and God, like who doesn't want a Mogwai?
No, it's great. Let me tell you, there were so many.
I had one.
There were so many plush animals on that thing. I mean, even till this day, you still see them on shelves.
Like, dude, not
I
until...
have the Nintendo video game.
Oh yeah, I have all that shit.
I was in a Spirit Halloween the other day, and there's Gremlin costumes and paraphernalia all over the place.
Yeah. Not until Grogu did you see something take over the market.
Oh my, you're right. And funny enough, they have the same ears. So,
right. But I remember being in the Diamond District, and like my dad took me into a store because he used to deal with jewelry and stuff. And I remember going to the Diamond District store, and they had like pencils and erasers from Gremlins, and I had to get one.
Was your dad planning a jewel heist?
No.
Come on, admit it.
Trying to get like a Mogwai from.
We were just selling stuff. We were selling some stuff that fell off the trucks.
Oh, okay. No, but yeah, no. And actually, the follow up to that, of course, Gremlins 2 was also a great success, and it really made like Joe Dante, who was the director of both movies. It really made Joe Dante just go, "Fuck it, I am now going to show all different types of Mogwais and Gremlins," and so.
Yeah,
they had the same effect that Star Wars had with people when people first saw the cantina scene with so many different aliens and all those things where people thought that was wild. The scene where you have all these different types of gremlins. You had the spider gremlin. You had the one that
that was the second movie.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's when he went crazy with the second movie, showing all these different type of So you had, the flashing one, you had the spider one, you had one with bat wings. I mean, it was just crazy. He just went nuts, but people ate it up and people loved it. And it was still a great movie. I mean, and the practical effects on it were just till this day, they're phenomenal. It's a great movie to watch. Great. Well, good choice.
Well, the cool part about that is that, think about it. Gremlins was filmed in the same square that they actually filmed Back to the Future. It's
really?
The same town. And if
I
you
didn't
go
know
to
that.
Universal lot, it's the same town square that they filmed Gremlins in as well.
Did not know that. That's actually good to know.
That's actually pretty cool.
That a set, or is that just like a neighboring thing?
It's a set on Universal lot that they use. So
that's cool.
Yeah, they used it
where the clock tower is.
The clock tower, the library, everything.
Oh,
it was
cool.
all re-envisioned for Back to the Future after Gremlins. And you could see that at the Universal lots in California.
Interesting.
Nice. That's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is going to be Zach.
Yes, sir. So I see that we've kind of maintained the honor system of not taking other movies from series. So I'm going to respectfully uphold that, right, and not choose any of the other Indiana Jones movies, though I want to.
You could do it if you want. I mean,
no.
It's a different movie. Obviously,
plenty
each
of
indie
ammo.
movie is a different indie movie. You know,
Plenty of ammo. Yeah, but yeah, okay.
You
But-
want to do Temple of Doom? We know this.
I do, but I'm gonna choose something else out of respect for Ralph's one good choice. And I'm just kidding.
Not
and
too crazy.
yeah. So I'm going to choose as a wild card 1966 Twister,
Oh, nice.
produced by Mr. Spielberg, as it fits into that same
what year
category.
did you just say?
1966? You mean 1996?
1996.
Yep, that's
With
correct.
Bill Paxton and yeah, I gotcha. All right.
1966.
Anyway. Gemini Paxton.
Yep.
Was that a cow? Same cow.
It's like it's a six that's upside down. So anyway, no, I just thought that would be a great addition. It's something that kind of teeters the line here.
Is this for your wild card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
this is
pretty
my
cool.
wild card. And just to wrap it out, I mean,
You got
I've
Helen
actually-
Hunt, Carrie Elways, Bill Paxton, and
what's his name? Great actor.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is in
Yeah,
it too.
the finger
And he's
of
like
God.
the cool dude. And there's a lot of good things in there. You had a song by Van Halen in there too.
Mhm.
It's also it was a Universal Studios ride or attraction.
At one point, but they closed it down due to issues. But you could actually see that on YouTube if you look at Universal.
I went to that ride.
rides that
It
were
was
closed
pretty
down.
good.
Yeah. One of the
Awesome.
other reasons that I chose it is just the fact that it's kind of in the same vein as like the essence of just kind of terror that he does a great job with.
Yes.
And the fact that I actually connect with that. I was born in Kentucky, which is both funny and real, and so
Funny and real.
yeah, funny and true. So but it's funny because when we were funny for a lot of reasons, but the reason that it pertains to this is that I actually ended up in a tornado shelter when I was like 2. Like we had to rush out of our house because there was a tornado. It didn't make landfall, but there was like a tornado like overhead. And so like ever since then, like tornadoes have been like that one natural weather event that I'm like, oh shit. Like it does something psychologically to me. And I just thought that would be a cool thing to mention as well.
Cool.
It was also notably, it was the first video or the first film to go to DVD in North America.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
From a chronology and a date standpoint, the first film to be released on DVD. So
Interesting. Okay.
interesting timeline, and obviously the 96.
Right.
You went into a shelter during a natural disaster, and I was in Florida during a Category 3 hurricane, and I got Chinese food during the eye of the storm because
Nice.
Chinese restaurants don't close ever.
Really?
Yeah, it was
And
funny.
we were
I'm sorry.
hungry.
I'm sorry, Joe. Category 3, that's cute.
I'm sorry. I was
lived-
there on vacation.
I
didn't
lived in
live
Florida.
there.
I was in a category 5, which decimated part of Florida, and it made it look like a nuclear bomb. And on that day, I went and bought a Sony TV. Don't ask me why.
And it was
good.
I
it
didn't
was a
live
tube
there.
TV
I
too.
was there for summer vacation.
The question is,
Wait a second. I was in a category 12, and all I did was buy new underpants because I shat myself. I was down there for Hurricane Andrew. It was scary as fuck.
yeah,
Well,
you're an animal.
Yeah, that's the one I was down. That's a category 5. Not a category.
Yeah, that was
12.
fucking terrifying. I was in Daytona Beach.
It was it was a horrifying storm. Let me tell you, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Jesus,
So
I don't even remember what I was gonna say at this point.
Twister.
We went
you were at Twister.
Yeah,
You were a Twister.
I was just looking at the timing, and I think '96 would have been about the same year that I was in a tornado shelter. looking at the timeline of everything, it's interesting how that worked out. But,
man. That's
it wasn't as dramatic as I made it sound. Like obviously I'm here, but it's just like because I was so young and I was like, oh shit, there's a tornado. Like I didn't even know what a tornado was, and just knew there was one. I was like, fuck. So,
all right, so
that's what I got
guess,
for you.
Yeah, I'm the last one,
All right.
and so my last one's going to be a wild card, and so. And as I look through the list of stuff that he's done, there's a few things that I could put in the wild card. Like, I mean, it wasn't very popular. It didn't do very well in the movies, and this was his like first time trying to like tackle comedy. But 1941, I thought was a great movie. Also, had some great scenes in it and great actors. It had John Belushi in it. John Candy. I mean, it was just, such a great cast in there. And it had its funny moments.
Yeah.
You were just talking about, Zach was just saying that, he didn't want to pick, like a sequel to something. But yeah, there's stuff like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah. Phenomenal movies when it comes to that.
Yeah, Temple of Doom is definitely my favorite.
Yeah. Hook with...
That's
Robin Williams.
Yeah, but you do have to pick one.
Yeah, Robert. It didn't do very well in the movies, but some of the behind the scenes stuff is that he just kind of Robin Williams does what he always does, which is goes off the rails and just kind of they just film him and say, "Fuck it, we'll just use something whatever he says because." Yeah, he's going 1,000 miles an hour.
It's a legendary film for the fact that it's Robin Williams. Steven Spielberg produced it. I don't think he directed it, right?
Hook? No, he directed it.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he did. It just wasn't a very successful movie. The Lost World, Jurassic Park, also was great.
I mean, Hook did make $300 million, so.
They still considered it a flop, believe it or not, and it got like bad reviews and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. It had Julia Roberts too as Tinkerbell.
Yep.
Made her very sexy, a little fairy. Amistad was another great movie. The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Another great movie that he made. Very heartwarming. Munich. I think we talked about that one. And then, of course, we got Indiana Jones of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which we already covered on this podcast. So I will never pick that one. Avengers and the Avengers of Tintin was another one that was an animated one that I believe it was it Joe Dante? It was I forgot who it was. Robert Zemeckis. Robert Zemeckis.
So,
no.
I know you said Adventures. But all I heard was Avengers of Tintin.
No, the Adventures
Age of Ultron.
Or I heard Adventures and I thought in babysitting. But that's just me.
There's also War Horse, which was that's also based off. I think that's based off of a book that then went to a play and then went into the movies. Lincoln was the same thing. The BFG. Anybody ever saw the BFG?
No, but it's on my list of things.
Yeah, so watch. I was not a big fan of it, but kind of weird. It's about giants. The Post is actually the only one that I have never seen from Steven Spielberg. West Side Story was actually very, very good, and that's about it for his film. So for a wild card, I think I'm not going to do a film, and I am going to try to do one of his other ones. So I'm kind of tossed up between, believe it or not, Super 8, which was an homage by J.J. Abrams to Steven Spielberg. If you ever watch Super 8, it has a lot of the camera movements. It looks exactly like an Amblin movie, sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But actually, funny enough, young Sherlock Holmes, I didn't realize that he was a producer on that. And do you guys know that Young Sherlock Holmes was the first movie to have a CG character?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it was the first thing that ILM actually did. That was the first CG.
Yeah.
It was the from the glass that was in the church, and it was of the night coming off, and they used that.
Yeah. They also had Tom Hanks in The Money Pit. One of the funniest scenes is when that bathtub just falls through the floor and he starts to laugh like a maniac. It's just the funniest thing because let me tell you, there have been so many times I relate to him in that sense. When shit is just not going right for me, I have to laugh. So out of all of these, because I mean, look, I mean, there's still a ton of stuff here that he has done. And for my wild card, I could pretty much pick whatever I want. But the one I'm going to pick is going to be a little bit more controversial. It made a shitload of money. We all grew up with it. And the sequels to it were so bad. But yet they... Huh?
Balto.
Balto?
Yeah.
What's Balto?
Oh,
it's about a dog.
About a dog.
Come on, what's Balto?
I don't know what Balto is. All right, so my pick for wild card is going to be
an STD.
Transformers.
Oh my god!
I
can't be here.
You could at least pick Bumblebee out of that list. At least that one's fucking good.
So here's why I picked. Here's why I picked
the
Transformers.
first one. The first Transformers.
The first one's
good.
Okay.
But after that,
Bumblebee
all the others,
is the best one.
Yeah, Bumblebee was really the best. They made it come back.
The reason I picked Transformers for several reasons. One, the fact that a movie about a toy line that got made and it was actually very successful was one of the things, right? We got to see Optimus Prime. We got to see a lot of and with the transforming part of it was just so freaking awesome. Yes, they didn't look that much like the toys, but it still had the original voice of Optimus Prime. What's his name? Peter Cullen.
Yep.
Yeah. So it still had the voice for him. It had Megan Fox.
Bro.
And Shia LaBeouf.
That's the only part that I don't like, but you know, it had Megan Fox, which at the time she looked amazing, even though I consider her a horrible actress. But
she still looks
I don't
great.
like.
Yeah, she was
like
just
her at all.
It was just one of those things where, you know, it's a Michael Bay film, so Michael Bay knows how to do as we said before, knows how to do explosions very well, knows how to film the military very well. And it had who was it? Oh, not John Turturro. Who was John Turturro, right?
John Turturro was in it. Yeah,
was also in it. Very funny. So it had some, you know, it had some really decent stuff. But let me tell you, this movie made a shitload of money. I mean, this thing was insane. The movies that followed sucked big time. And Bumblebee, I felt like that one is the closest that we would ever get to the way the Transformers look at in the toy line. But honestly, when it came to the movie itself, it actually broke grounds in that sense that it's like, hey, it made shitload. It made so much money that they made 5 shitty movies afterwards. And
those still made money.
And it took the studios, I think, 5 movies to go, all right, we got to stop. But yeah, so that's gonna be my last one is Transformers. I mean, I could have picked, like, the other one I was gonna pick was probably gonna be either Money Pit or something like one of my favorite movies that I grew up with, Batteries Not Included. Do you guys remember?
Oh yeah, that was a great movie too.
That's a great movie too. So it's that movie has so much heart. But yeah, so that's what I picked. So let's do a recap here.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. What?
'Cause we can't just trash somebody and not at least say they have one good movie. Megan Fox.
Yes, please name a movie that she did that's
2021, her movie Till Death is good. It's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Till Death? Which one?
Yep.
Which
Fuck. Get the Joe, go to sleep.
Yeah,
get out of here. It was a decent movie.
Go to sleep.
Well, what about that
Happy-
movie
Happy-
where
go
she
watch
was
One
a
with
demon?
kids. I can stay up as long as I
thought
want.
that-
Go watch Happy Death Day.
I
Kill
actually
Death
have
has
to
a
talk to
90%.
that writer.
Has a 90%.
All right. So instead of Transformers, I could pick, let's say, Deep Impact.
Well, yeah, I actually do enjoy Deep Impact. Actually,
Yikes! Don't say that out loud again.
no, honestly, I do. Between Armageddon and Deep
Pause.
Impact, I thought they were both good, but Deep Impact was a little bit more embracing as far as the story plot and everything else. Taya Leone actually acted very well in it, I thought.
That's why I think it's a great movie, since I don't want to say anything,
Yes,
bad
I know,
about her
but
movies.
but on top of that, you got a nice, great black president in the actual movie itself. I
Yeah,
thought
that's
he
true.
was great. Yeah, I thought he was amazing.
Another
And
one
that's
another one he produced, Real Steel. I like that movie too.
Oh, I love that movie with Hugh Jackman.
You can't keep changing.
Huh?
It's not how it works. Your pick is inserts.
No,
Transformers.
He's trying to round up to the point.
I picked Transformers. I'm just kind of going over some of the other stuff that he is responsible for. So I mean, look, Steven Spielberg is as we said, this man is a powerhouse, the most successful director in movie history, has his hands on so many things.
Dude, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I mean, in Wolf of Wall Street, he has somehow he co-directed a scene. So did he also did it on Scarface.
Yes.
So much clout, man.
He also co-directed. He was second unit director in Revenge of the Sith.
Why?
Why?
Sorry,
well, Revenge of the Sith was the better one out of all three sequels.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So if Steven Spielberg helped on that, now we know why. But
he also created Amazing Stories that was on TV as well.
Let's just briefly talk about that. So I don't know if you guys grew up with seeing Amazing Stories.
I did.
You did, Ralph?
Yeah.
No? All right. So Amazing Stories are basically, think about small Steven Spielberg 1-hour movies that he will give every week. And when you watched it, you could tell that there was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Right. So if you get the chance, really watch them. They're especially there are two episodes I like. One is about a World War II crew in a B-17 bomber. How they got into a battle and the landing gears couldn't go down, and then the person on the turret on the bottom, they knew that he's stuck in there, and everybody said, well, he's gonna die because we got to land, we got to crash, we got to do a controlled crash land, and he's in the bottom, he's gonna get crushed, and he was actually a cartoon artist, and again, spoilers but as they're landing, he was in a trance because he knew he was going to die, and he started drawing the B-17, and he drew these big cartoon landing gears popping out, and in real life you see the cartoon landing gears pop out. Right.
Think of like a Dark Shadows TV series, but in a more positive aspect.
Yes. And then there was one where it's called Mummy Daddy or something like that, or Daddy Mummy, where it's an actor who's playing a mummy, but his wife goes into labor, and somehow they're filming in an area where there was actually rumors about a real mummy and stuff like that, and the real mummy actually comes to life, and they're confusing the real mummy with him. So they're taking the real mummy and trying to they're trying to actually put him in the scenes to act and stuff like that. It's like, all right, we need you over here. And the mummy's like, right. While the actor is actually trying to make his way to the hospital to see his kid born. But people are shooting at him because they think he's the real mummy. And it's actually very funny. They have such great episodes. And as a matter of fact,
Apple TV has an amazing stories.
Yeah, they did 2 seasons. I think they did 2 seasons, and they have some great stuff in there. So it's something that I would definitely recommend if you are a Steven Spielberg fan and you like the stuff that he does. Those are great
shows
when it comes to that. He also had his hands in Tiny Toons. He had his hands in video games like Animaniacs, video games. We're talking about like Call of Duty. So this is a man that actually has, really done has actually affected all our lives, because for people like us who consume media the way we do,
Yeah.
he has his hands in a lot of things. So so those are our top 5, and I'm just gonna go very quickly over it. And for those of you out there listening, I mean, you let us know, who do you think has the best top 5? Let us know. So I'm gonna start with I believe it's Joe. Joe has, for his number 1, he has Jaws, he has Poltergeist, Minority Report, Bridge of Spies, Catch Me If You Can. So those are actually great choices there. For Mark, we have Close Encounters, The Goonies, Lincoln, Always, and Steven Spielberg's first movie, Duel.
Yep.
For Ralph, I actually only have 4 for you. Which was the last one that you picked, Ralph?
Gremlins.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for Ralph, he has Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ready Player One, American Tail, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and of course Gremlins, as we just said. And then Zach has Hello. So Zach has Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, War of the Worlds, Men in Black, Twister, and then my list, which I think is pretty good too. E.T., Schindler's List, AI, Back to the Future, and Transformers, which is the one thing that might be up in the air.
Hank,
but
your whole list.
It is the way it is. So so you guys, everybody out there, let us know who has the better list, and who has, who do you think has the best top 5 there. But
I'll humbly accept my victory.
So what do you guys think? You guys happy with your choices?
Yeah, I'm good with them.
I like mine, but I think Zach's got a couple big ones on there.
Yeah,
sort of where he fell. So
well, interesting. Like that. This is why I said when I did it this way, the top 5 that we would have picked, each one of us pick one of those.
I think so. Yeah.
If you think about it, right? I got E.T. for my first one. Zach had Jurassic Park. Ralph had Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mark had Close Encounters. Joe had Jaws.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If we are actually writing our top 5, that's probably would have been our top 5s.
I just got a little bit of. I got some goosebumps when Jaws hit there. So
So that's pretty much our show right now. I mean, we're covering Steven Spielberg, doing our top 5 for that. And Mark, where can they hear you?
Oh, well, you could always hear me on Panels to Pixels podcast. You can find that on the Next Level Online Radio Podcast Network. Currently, Steve and I are covering both the Umbrella Academy and She-Hulk. So Umbrella Academy on Netflix, as well as She-Hulk on Disney+. So you can check me out there. I'm also on Adrenaline Cinema podcast. And recently uploaded the Predator from 1987 that Steve Brown and my co-host from Panels to Pixels, actually covered. So we're doing that, and then you could look forward to seeing us or hearing us cover the movie Prey from Hulu. So
solid
you can check
movie.
Yeah, so you can check us out. Like I said, Panels to Pixels podcast you can find on the Next Level Online Radio Podcast Network. So nextlevelradioonline.com or Adrenaline Cinema on the PirateCoreEntertainment.com. And
cool. Anybody else has their own thing, or are you guys just sitting at home doing nothing?
Yeah, this is Zach Book from Screaming at a Local Best Buy near you. I make weird metal music nobody really gives a shit about at crestfallen.bandcamp. facebook.com/I'm not even sure if that's the real URL. And
Don't forget about the broccoli face videos.
Yeah, I also make broccoli face videos of people that are driving. Also on Snapchat. So you can find me at any one of those places.
Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, if anybody wants to let us know which list you like, you could always email us at fantasypicksmovieedition@gmail.com. Other than that, my name is Robert. I am your host, and signing off, I got Ralph.
Later, fellers.
Zach.
Hi.
Joe.
See you guys.
And Mark.
Talk to you guys later.
All right. Have a week.